Okay, you kids, move faster.
I need to be by you, Devin. I need to be there so I can get her in the cabin. Yeah, there we go.
Okay. This house dates to 1833. I said the oldest one standing.
Oh my
in Tahlequah,
God.
the oldest building standing. It dates to 1833. And it was the home of Dr. I.D. Lozier. His great-great-granddaughter owns it today. Now, the porch was not on it at the time it was here. And some of the chinking, if you look carefully, you can see some of that chinking between the logs is kind of pink. Most of it's concrete, had to be replaced. But some of the chinking that's kind of pink is original chinking. Dr. Lozier was from Pennsylvania. He was a medical officer in the United States Army, and he was sent to Fort Gibson. He never went back to his home in Pennsylvania. When he was mustered out of the Army at Fort Gibson, he came here. He had a wife and children in Pennsylvania. Then when he came here, he later married a young woman who was a child on the Trail of Tears. And her name was Susan Agnew. He was a good deal older than she, but when she grew up, they were married and they reared their family in this home. At one time, it had an L-shaped cabin back this way on it too. But this is the main portion. And the family are very, very proud of it. It's on the National Register, of course, which is a way to identify homes that are important to the history of a state. His daughter and her husband built the White House, and I think I've forgotten what that sign says. It's 1906 or 7, and it's also in the family. And that wooden statue you see there is the granddaughter of Dr. Lozier, and the statue was done of her and the little dog. So this is the oldest standing building in Tahlequah. And this whole edition was called Lozier Edition because it was named for Dr. Lozier. He was a medical doctor during the Civil War, never turned away people. At one point had to move out of their cabin because outlaws came in and took over the cabin, but he treated everybody, and he's buried out at the city cemetery and all his family. I knew this lady. She was my mother's age. She was an elderly woman when I was a young teacher, and heard lots of stories about the family. But this is typical of how the houses were built in the woods out here before the Cherokee people came on the Trail of Tears, before it became Tahlequah, so that's just pioneer. It was typical of any pioneers, not just Cherokee people. After the Civil War, pioneers still lived like that. Black people lived in cabins, white people lived in cabins, Cherokee people lived in cabins. It was pioneer living. That's the way you did until times modernized. What's new about that? You learn and you do, and ways of living change. So, the oldest one in town. Now then, I think, teachers, it is now 10 o'clock. I think probably we ought to go to the Thompson house now to let them have some time in the Thompson house. Do you all? Yes.
Does anybody still live here, or does she just own it?
She just owns it. Nobody lives in either one. She lives in the, I think the roof of this house, the brick house right down here. She lives down. That's her house, and she owns all this. She owns all this, and so she keeps this.
Everybody, kind of get over there with her, and let's take a picture with that in the background.
Okay.
Get in there so I can get.
We'll do both.
Okay, we'll do one of each. Y'all are too big. Smile. Wait.
Hold it.
Get back in there.
Which one? This?
Don't know. You have to hold it down for just a second, Paula.